Hello. This is Michael Gotel. I'm here to do project number 2, Discord or Peace. Now, the big question in project 2 is, are humans being built for conflict, rivalry, and war, or do we yearn deeply for peace and reconciliation? Now, I don't want to address the big question right now, but I will come back to it. Right now, what I do want to address is the reflection on the characters leaning towards conflict or reconciliation in the text that we read so far. Now, in one of the texts called The Songs of Roland, on the page 35, in one of the scenes on Songs of Roland, is Ganelon is planning Roland's death with Marcia, the king of Saragossa. And the passage that I chose reads, "Behold a pagan, Valabran, who armed Marsil a knight, with cheerful smiles, he said to Ganelon, Take this my sword, no man, ere dware its peer. The hilt alone is worth more than 1,000 marks. For love I give it, but lend us help against the Count Roland, and show us how to find him in the rear. So shall it be, replies Count Ganelon, whereas the king kisses each other chin and face." Now in this scene, we can see that Ganelon is causing some conflict. He's causing conflict because he's going, for one, he's being a traitor to his people. Two, he's trying to kill his own nephew, and three, he is trying to, and then three, he is doing the whole, he's planning the whole thing out with his enemy. Now, on the next paragraph, I want to look at the second reading that we had, Atu Sumori. You're going to find it's going to be very hard for me to pronounce stuff on this one. But Atu Zumori, there are a few points that I want to hit on this one. The first passage is in the beginning, and it's when the priest is talking and he is setting the stage for what's about to happen. And it reads, "I am Kumanji, no Nozan, a man of the county Musashi. I have left my home and called myself the priest Renzi. This I have done because of my grief at the death of Adazumori, who fell in battle by my hand. Hence it comes that I am dressed in priestly guise. And now I'm going down to Ichi no Tani to pray for the salvation of Atusumori's soul." Now in that little part that I just read, the priest is trying to cause reconciliation because he feels bad about causing the death of Adamuzori, and he is going to Ichinotani to pray for for the salvation of Adamuzori's soul. Now, another part that I want to address is in the middle of the story, and that's where when I first read it, stuff started to get a little weird for me. So in the middle part that I chose, it reads, this is the priest talking, "Since this is so, I will perform all the rites of prayers for the dead, and calling upon Amida's name will pray again for the salvation of Adamuzori. The ghost of Adamuzori appears, dressed as a young warrior. Now Adamuzori speaks. Would you know who I am, that like the watchmen at Samu's Pass have wakened at the cry of seabirds roaming upon Awaji shores? Listen, Rizzi, I am Adamuzori." Now that part, when I first read this story, that part was confusing to me, mainly because I'm wondering why Adamuzori is talking to him in the first place. Why is he there? Why is he appearing? Is he there to cause conflict? Is he there to cause reconciliation? Is he there to show some peace towards him? Like, what is he? Is he there for revenge? There was a lot of questions that I had about this part when I first read it. And honestly, that question doesn't get answered until this last part that I want to hit. On the last part, around the very, very end of the story, it says, Adamuzori rises from the ground and advances towards the priest with uplifted sword. There is my enemy, he cries, and would strike, but the other is grown gentle, and calling on Buddha's name, has obtained salvation for his foe, so that they shall be reborn again on one lotus seat. No, Renzi is not my enemy. Pray for me again. Oh, pray for me again. Now, on that passage that I just read, we finally see why Adamazori came back to the priest and why he spoke to him. We basically see that he came to cause reconciliation with the priest because he tell him that that the priest isn't his enemy. And I believe on the part where it says, and calling on Buddha's name has obtained salvation for his foes so that they shall be reborn again. I think that was hinting at that Adamazori has not been able to pass on his soul to the greater planes or wherever he goes, and that he came there to reconcile with the priest so his soul can also pass on. Oh, and then he also told the priest to continue praying and praying again. That's another hint that he's came to cause reconciliation. But yeah, now I want to look at something. I want to look at answer the question: are these human leanings influenced by culture? With this question, I want to use the example of the Harry Potter series. If you're not familiar with the Harry Potter series follows this young wizard named Harry, basically through 7 books and 8 movies of him trying to find who he is and trying to find and fight his enemy, Lord Voldemort. I'm going to answer the question by telling you how each of their journeys are affected by their culture. Now, first and foremost, I believe that both of them were looking for peace. In a sense, both of them are looking for peace. Their peace is just different. They just both have a different perspective of peace and what it means to them. First, Harry, he wants peace. One, he wants peace himself, finding out who he truly is because he still feels lost coming from his background of both of his parents were murdered by Lord Voldemort. One, he wants peace. He wants Lord Voldemort to die because he wants revenge. Then he wants a piece of self because he has this crazy connection to Lord Voldemort because the night that he died, he got this crazy scar on his forehead, and now he's like connected to Lord Voldemort as long as he's still alive. And all that is shaped by his background, his parents dying, and him living with his aunt and uncle who treated him horribly. Because if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have the motivation to keep going. And trying to find the peace and kill Voldemort. Voldemort, on the other hand, his peace is a little different from Harry's. His peace is looking for a way to control everything. He basically wants to control the world. He basically wants to get rid of all Muggle-born people and half-blood people, even though he's half-blood himself, which is crazy. But he still wants to get rid of all these people. That's his peace. And that's all shaped by him being a half-born himself. His mother having a child by this Muggle-born man who found out that she was a witch, and he left them, and she died shortly after having Voldemort. And that kind of fueled his power for seeking that kind of peace. But yeah. Now I want to go back into the big question. Are humans being built for conflict, rivalry, and war, or do we yearn deeply for peace and reconciliation? Now, my original position, I said that humans are built for conflict, rivalry, and war. Yes, we are. And that we yearn deeply for peace and reconciliation. Yes, we do. Now, I still stand by that same sentiment I said before because I truly believe that we are built for conflict, rivalry, and war, and we do seek peace. But the crazy thing about peace is that we don't exactly know what peace is. There's never been a peaceful moment for humans. We don't exactly know what it is, what it looks like. And that's why I think that one day we will never have like peace on earth or whatever. We'll never have it because we don't exactly know what it is and what it looks like. That's why we're built with all this conflict, rivalry, and war because we have to withstand everything that is thrown at us. if we're going to continue living in this world. What made me came to that big conclusion is one, the song Roland. Even after Roland died, you see that there was still a war going on, that all these things happened. Even the way that the song of Roland ended, it ended like, oh my, when they it was presented that there's a whole nother war in the upfront. Like no matter, this may be the ending of this one journey, but the whole battle is still not won, and the battle probably will never be won because we're gonna keep fighting these little fights until the end, which may never come. Because even after we die, life still goes on. But yes, I think that is all I have to say. I hope I enlighten minds. I hope I hit all the requirements. Hope I get an A. But thank you, and I hope you enjoyed listening.